In Nakisa Hanelly, you have different org chart styles that you can choose from to change how it's displayed. And depending on the size of your org chart, some might be better suited for you than others. So from the Actions menu on the Pages toolbar, I can open up the Org Chart Styles sub-menu and choose from any of the 4 options here. I'll just expand a few nodes in my org chart to show you how it changes according to different styles. So first, the Combined style is what my org chart defaults to, so data would be visualized as you see here. Then, I have the Vertical style, which of course visualizes data vertically. The Standard style would display your nodes in this way. And finally, the Horizontal style shows your org chart horizontally. So right now, as you can see, my org chart doesn't fit the screen with my current parameters and data, and I'd say that the best style for me is the Combined style. I'll just switch back to it, but I always have the option to select another style if I need to. The solution also gives you a variety of org chart perspectives to choose from to help you visualize the different kinds of reporting relationships in your organization. These can be accessed under the Organization Structure section of the default landing page, or from the Action menu within your org chart. Under Org Chart Perspectives. In the Manager perspective, you'll see both solid and dotted line reporting relationships. In Nakisa Hanelly, solid lines are used for direct reporting relationships, and different colors of dotted lines are used to visualize non-standard relationships as your organization sees fit. So from my org chart as you see it here, the VP of Strategy has a dotted line report to the CEO, indicated by the dotted gray border around the position node. But if I go ahead and expand the position nodes below the Senior VP of R&D, as you can see here, the VP of Strategy actually directly reports to the Senior VP of R&D, indicated by the solid border around the node. So in this perspective, the border around these nodes indicates the reporting relationships, and both solid and dotted ones are represented. You can also see just above that the Senior Manager of Software Testing has a position node with a red dotted border. This is simply a different kind of dotted line reporting relationship within this organization. So next, I'll show you the legal perspective, but I want to show you how it compares to the manager perspective. So I'll just collapse a few nodes. Click on the Toggle Pane Mode button here in the banner menu to display a second pane. Pin the tab with my org chart in the manager perspective, and open a new org chart tab in the legal perspective, and move that into my second pane. In the legal perspective, you'll only see solid line reporting relationships, so only the actual direct reports. In this case, you can see that in my org chart displayed in the legal perspective, the VP of Strategy position doesn't appear below the CEO because it isn't a direct report to it. Only the solid line reporting relationships appear here. The third and final org chart perspective is the functional perspective, and I'll just switch the org chart in my second pane to that by clicking on the Actions menu, Chart Perspectives, and clicking on Functional Perspective. So at first glance, nothing seems different from the org chart in my left pane. But actually, in the functional perspective, you'll see both solid and dotted line reporting relationships. But if a position or employee has both, you'll only see the dotted line one. So I'll just use the example of the VP of Strategy once again, which has both a solid and a dotted line reporting relationship as we can see in the manager perspective over here. As we see in the functional perspective, this position has a dotted line reporting relationship to the CEO. But if I expand the position nodes under the Senior VP of R&D, the solid line reporting relationship doesn't appear here. So as we just saw, These chart perspectives give you 3 different ways to visualize the reporting structures within your organization, according to your needs. So at this point, we haven't delved too far into the actual contents of the nodes you see within your org chart, but there is quite a lot of data that can be displayed inside of them, depending on what your administrator has made available to you in your environment and with your role. So from my org chart, if I click on the action menu on the toolbar, then on org chart views, I have the sub-menus for both position and employee nodes with lists of different types of content that I want to see within the nodes. So just to show you a few, under position, we have the standard view, which only shows the position title, the ID number, and the name of the employee occupying the position. We also have the talent rating view, which shows different metrics related to the employee, and I can hover over each icon to have a caption to tell me what they stand for. And then, I also have views that allow me to select different types of analytics to display in the nodes, so I'll show you how to do that. So here, for example, I'll click on the action menu, then chart views, then position, then the analytics employee view. I now have 3 different colored boxes within each node, linking to 3 drop-down lists at the top of my org chart. And I can select a different target analytic to display in each one. So for example, I'll select headcount in the first list, which is the number of employees under this position. Total salary in the second one, which shows the total salary of the employees under this position. And average age in the third one, which shows, of course, the average age of the employees below this position as well. As you can see, these analytics appear in the corresponding boxes within each node. So I'll leave it at that for this section on org chart views, but I'll dive much deeper into org chart analytics in a separate capsule. Depending on whether or not your administrator has enabled this feature in your application and allowed your user role to view it, you might be able to access the employee org chart for your organization. In this structure, you can see employees reporting to employees, rather than employees occupying positions and positions reporting to positions. So it's really yet another way to view your organizational data, depending on your needs. So if the employee org chart has been enabled in your application, you can access it from the landing page under the Organization Structure section, or from the main menu under Charts. As you can see, from the main menu, I can also select an effective date for this kind of org chart, in the same way as I would for my position reporting structure. This allows me to display my org chart based on my organization's data, as it was at a specific point in time other than right now. So before wrapping up, I'll just open up my employee org chart. And you'll notice that I have fewer options in my toolbar and in my action menu. But other than that, this org chart functions in the same way as the position org chart.